Chosen one, a new path is gradually opening before you. Even though your eyes cannot yet see its full shape and your mind still holds many questions it cannot explain. I am not speaking to you of a vague promise that asks you to remain still and merely wait. Nor am I giving you the illusion that every difficulty will suddenly disappear on its own. What I want you to recognize is that my care is still present within the quiet movements taking place around you. An idea arriving at the right moment, an opportunity beginning to take form, a person willing to support you, a small door opening slightly, or a new strength rising within you after months, when you believed you had nothing left. Archangel Michael, my faithful messenger, protector, and servant who carries out my will, has been sent to encourage you to stand firm, preserve your courage, and refuse to let fear turn you away from what is good. Yet it is I who am speaking directly to you. I want you to understand that your name has never been forgotten. Your sincere prayers have not vanished into emptiness, and the years in which you quietly lived with kindness, faithfulness, and patience were never meaningless. Perhaps you once believed that you had to prove enough, strive long enough, or endure enough pain before you earned the right to receive something good. But my love is not a reward reserved only for those who have never made mistakes. You do not have to become perfect before you can be loved, nor must you hide your weaknesses in order to be seen by me. The provision I am teaching you to recognize is not limited to money, possessions, or visible results. It is also the wisdom that keeps you from wasting what you already have, the health and time that allow you to work, the patience required to learn a new skill, the discernment to recognize sound advice, and the peace that prevents you from making decisions in panic. Sometimes what you need most is not to possess much more, but to use more wisely what is already in your hands. Sometimes the answer does not arrive as a gift suddenly falling from heaven, but through my awakening within you, a spirit of discipline, courage, and determination to rebuild your life through small yet lasting steps. I know that you are tired. I know that your exhaustion did not come from avoiding responsibility, but from the many times you gave your best and still saw results unfold slowly. You knocked on doors that seemed right, followed the advice you were given, awakened with the determination to do better, and then returned disappointed because circumstances had not changed as you hoped. You watched others move forward while you continued wrestling with the same old questions. There were nights when you wondered whether you had been left behind and whether your path still held any meaning. I saw all of it. I saw the times you kept your word, even when no one was watching. The moments you chose integrity, when a shortcut seemed easier, and the days you quietly fulfilled your responsibilities while your heart felt unbearably heavy. Do not call those months and years failures. They formed within you an endurance that success arriving too early could never have given you. They taught you what truly matters, who can genuinely be trusted, and which habits you must leave behind. However, my beloved child, I do not want you to turn perseverance into an excuse for clinging forever to something that no longer belongs in your life. Not every closed door is a punishment, and not every delay means you must continue moving in the same direction. There are roads I allow to end so that you will stop wasting your strength in places incapable of producing good fruit. Some plans need to be adjusted, some dreams need to mature, and some expectations must be released, so that a healthier purpose can take shape. Faithfulness does not only mean continuing to walk. Sometimes it means being humble enough to admit that an old approach is no longer working. Look honestly at your life, but do not condemn yourself. Ask what is exhausting you, what is genuinely nourishing you, and what is merely causing you to repeat the same cycle. When you recognize a habit that is pulling you downward, do not wait until your emotions are perfect before changing it. Begin with one small decision, and then repeat that decision each day. You may be close to a transformation, whose first sign is not a dramatic event, but a change in the way you view your circumstances. What once drove you into despair is beginning to become a lesson. What once terrified you no longer holds the same power to control you. You are beginning to understand that your worth is not determined by one failure, one rejection, or the amount of money you currently possess. You are realizing that you do not have to spend your life trying to please everyone. You are also learning that peace is more precious than winning every argument, and that preserving kindness matters more than proving who was wrong. This inner change is preparing you for what is new. When the past no longer directs you, you will recognize opportunities that fear once concealed from your sight. When you stop comparing your journey with the journeys of others, you will have enough focus to care for the work I have entrusted to you. Remember that lasting provision often comes with responsibility. If you pray for a new opportunity, prepare yourself to work diligently when it appears. If you desire greater resources, learn to manage what you already possess. If you want to build a stable future, stop spending your time on things that offer only temporary comfort. Make plans, save according to your ability, learn from those with experience, and do not be ashamed to begin from a humble position. Great things do not always begin with applause or thunder. Many beautiful works begin in a small room with an ordinary person deciding not to delay any longer. I am not asking you to accomplish everything in one day. I am simply inviting you to take one sincere step today. Complete what you promised, submit the application you prepared, study one more lesson, call the person to whom you owe an apology, or put your life in order, so that there will be room for something new. Do not despise the small forms of assistance that come to you. A recommendation, a conversation, a reduced expense, a new client, a timely gift, or an idea capable of becoming meaningful work should all be received with gratitude. Yet you must also remain alert. Do not turn one small sign into a guarantee that everything will immediately unfold according to your desires. Test opportunities with wisdom, examine commitments carefully, and do not allow impatience to make you believe promises that have no solid foundation. What is good will not require you to surrender your dignity, deceive others, or cause harm. The guidance that comes from me brings clarity together with responsibility. It does not lead you into chaos. When a door opens, pray, reflect, seek trustworthy counsel, and move forward with humility. Faith does not mean closing your eyes to reality. Faith enables you to face reality without allowing it to steal your hope. I also want you to protect the environment surrounding you. Some conversations feed nothing but bitterness. Some voices repeatedly tell you that you will never change, and some relationships make you increasingly doubt your own worth. You do not need to hate or despise anyone, but you have the right to establish healthy boundaries. Step away from conversations filled only with mockery, jealousy, and despair. Seek people who can encourage you, while still having the courage to tell you the truth. People who do not merely applaud your dreams, but also remind you to prepare, learn, and accept responsibility. Michael protects you not so that you can avoid every difficulty, but so that you will have enough courage to confront what must change. My protection does not make you passive. It helps you rise without allowing fear, anger, or insecurity to make your decisions for you, my beloved child. If I place greater resources into your hands, it is not merely so that you may live more comfortably, but so that you may become a blessing to others. Money is not the measure of your worth, and success is not a throne that elevates you above those beside you. Resources become truly meaningful only when they are used to build, heal, care for others, and create something useful. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to become when your life changes. Will you preserve your gratitude? Will you know how to share without boasting? Can you succeed while remaining kind to those who serve you? Will you remember your difficult days and use that memory to support those who are vulnerable? A beautiful mission is not proven through grand declarations, but through the way you treat others when no one is watching, through integrity in your work, and through the way you use your influence to bring hope rather than making others feel small. Do not wait until you possess an abundance before you begin living generously. You can be generous through a sincere word of encouragement, by keeping your promises, by giving time to someone who needs to be heard, and by dedicating yourself wholeheartedly to your present work. Do not wait until every wound has disappeared before you begin to love. Let love become part of the healing process itself. Some people have hurt you, and I am not asking you to deny what happened. Forgiveness does not mean calling wrong right, nor does it require you to return to the place where you were wounded. Forgiveness is the decision not to allow their actions to continue ruling your mind. You can establish boundaries without nurturing hatred. You can walk away without seeking revenge. You must also forgive yourself for the times you lacked wisdom, for the opportunities you missed, and for the days when you were not as strong as you wished to be. Now rise with a renewed spirit. Abandon the habit of condemning yourself. Stop calling yourself by the names of your former failures, and do not allow the judgments of others to become the final definition of who you are. Choose discipline instead of delay, gratitude instead of comparison, honesty instead of shortcuts, and kindness instead of bitterness. You may not yet see the entire road, but you can still walk within the portion of light you have been given. You may not possess the resources you desire, but you can remain faithful with what is already in your hands. Your life may not transform overnight, yet every good choice you make today is quietly building tomorrow. I am not calling you to run quickly in order to prove something. I am calling you to walk steadily, walk sincerely, and walk with a heart that has been freed from the past. After you have done your part, return and rest in my peace. You do not need to control every outcome, nor must you carry the whole future upon your shoulders today. Breathe slowly. Look again at the good things that are still present, and be grateful that you still have an opportunity to begin anew. Give thanks because you survived the days that once seemed impossible, because you learned what you needed to learn, and because your heart is still capable of loving. I do not promise that every road will always be easy, but I will continue teaching you to walk with wisdom, courage, and hope. Live with greater kindness than you did yesterday, greater steadfastness today, and greater sincerity tomorrow. Then you will realize that the most precious provision is not only what comes into your life, but also the strong, grateful, and loving person you are becoming, day by day. My beloved child, I am opening before you a new understanding of provision, not so that you will pursue dazzling promises, but so that you may recognize that your life still contains paths, resources, and opportunities your present eyes cannot yet fully see. Some things have been quietly prepared through every lesson, every relationship, and every occasion when you persevered, despite seeing no immediate result. Archangel Michael, my faithful messenger and devoted protector, has been sent to remind you to preserve your courage, stand firm against doubt, and refuse to let fear turn you away from the steps that are right. Yet it is I who am speaking to you now. I want you to understand that my care does not always appear in the form you expect. Sometimes it comes as a clear idea, a person offering wise counsel at the proper moment, a vocation that must be patiently developed, a small door opening after months of apparent silence, or simply the strength to endure another difficult day without losing your kindness. You do not need to consider yourself forgotten, simply because results have arrived more slowly than expected. Nor should you conclude that I have rejected you when your prayers have not been answered in the way you imagined. There are seasons when I do not immediately lead you to what you desire, because I am developing within you the capacity to preserve what you will eventually receive. Provision is not merely money. It is also the wisdom to use what you have, the health required to work, trustworthy people who can walk beside you, an opportunity to learn, a timely warning, an idea capable of growing into something valuable, and the peace that prevents you from making decisions in panic. Some things grow silently like seeds beneath the soil. The fact that you cannot yet see a green shoot does not mean that nothing is happening. Nevertheless, I do not want you to live through unfounded imagination. I want you to unite faith with responsibility, hope with action, and prayer with serious preparation. I know the weariness you have carried. It is not the weariness of someone unwilling to try, but the heaviness of one who has knocked on many doors, learned many lessons, and repeatedly done what was right, without yet seeing a corresponding reward. You wondered whether you had taken the wrong path, whether your efforts had become meaningless, and whether others had moved far ahead while you remained in the same familiar place. I saw the days when you quietly put everything in order, the times you lifted yourself up again, and the moments you chose honesty, even when compromise seemed more convenient. No good effort is ever entirely wasted, but not everything you once pursued must be preserved forever. Maturity is not found only in your ability to persevere. It is also found in the wisdom to recognize when to continue, when to adjust, and when to calmly close a road that is no longer right for you. One of the first signs of transformation is that you begin to see your next step more clearly. I do not always give you the entire map, because if you knew every turn beforehand, you might rely only upon control and never learn to trust. I often provide enough light for one step, and when you take that step with awareness and wisdom, the next part of the road gradually appears. Perhaps you have recently realized that you need to complete a course, revise your resume or application, learn how to manage your finances, contact someone who once offered to help you, end a habit that drains your energy, or begin the small work you have postponed for far too long. Do not hastily call every sudden idea my guidance, but neither should you dismiss calm realizations that are consistent with goodness and can be tested through wisdom. What comes from me does not drive you into disorderly action. It leads you toward responsibility, clarity, honesty, and lasting benefit. When a direction becomes clearer, test it through small and thoughtful steps. Ask whether that road will help you become more truthful, disciplined, and useful. Consider whether it would harm others, require you to lie, or force you to trade your dignity for results. Listen to the counsel of mature and knowledgeable people who are not trying to control you. Trustworthy clarity is not afraid of examination. Faith does not oppose reason, and my guidance does not ask you to abandon responsibility. I do not support confusion that you deliberately choose to maintain, but I remain patient with sincere questions. At times you may not know the complete answer, yet you can still do the right thing directly before you. Repay a debt according to your ability, complete the work you promised, learn another skill, apologize when you are wrong, and remain faithful in small matters. Another sign may be the feeling that your old circumstances have become too narrow for you. Things you once tolerated now cause you to recognize that change is necessary. Yet, my beloved child, learn to distinguish awakening from impulsiveness. Not every dissatisfaction is a call to leave immediately. Some discomfort comes because you are growing, but some restlessness comes from exhaustion, comparison, or unrealistic expectations. Therefore, pause long enough to understand what is truly happening. If a job is draining you, identify the specific causes and prepare an alternative before leaving. If a relationship continually damages your dignity, establish boundaries and seek safe support. If your present environment no longer nourishes good values, begin calmly building a new road instead of destroying everything in a moment of anger. Do not be ashamed because you have changed. Some garments once fit you well, but they cannot be worn forever after you have grown. Some conversations once gave you a sense of belonging, but now they feed only pessimism, bitterness, and helplessness. You do not need to look down upon people who are in a different season, nor must you imagine yourself superior to them. You simply need to protect your peace through healthy boundaries. Spend less time in places that continually suffocate your gratitude. Refuse to participate in gossip, mockery, or condemnation. Choose to remain near people who can speak truth to you with love, encourage you to work honestly, and remind you to accept responsibility for your choices. Michael protects you not so that you may escape every trial, but so that you will have the courage to confront what must be corrected without being ruled by fear. You may also begin noticing small forms of help arriving unexpectedly. An expense may be reduced, an item may be given to you at the right time, someone may recommend you for a job, a new client may appear, an opportunity for cooperation may arise, or a conversation may reveal a solution you had never considered. Be grateful, but do not hastily turn every coincidence into a guarantee that something extraordinary is certainly about to occur. Receive small blessings as reminders that you do not have to carry everything alone. At the same time, manage them carefully. Unexpected money is not a reason to spend thoughtlessly. An open door does not mean you should enter without examining it. An attractive invitation must still be tested. Lasting provision is often accompanied by the ability to preserve, allocate, and use resources for the proper purpose. My beloved child, I want you to learn to recognize the abundance already present in things that may appear very small, because those who fix their eyes only upon one great event can easily overlook the quiet graces sustaining them each day. A simple meal that warms your heart, a patient person who listens until you have expressed all that burdens you, A morning when you can awaken and choose again how you will live. A modest room that still shelters you from wind and rain, or a mistake that can still be corrected. All of these deserve to be treasured. I do not teach you gratitude so that you will stop dreaming or become content with stagnation. I teach you gratitude so that your heart will not be ruled by an imagined sense of deprivation, and so that when greater blessings arrive, you will still remember who you are and will not trade your peace for things that earn only temporary admiration. The one who values small things will possess the awareness needed to preserve greater things. The one who only demands more may possess much and still remain perpetually empty. Do not use the amount of money you possess to define your worth. Money can help you meet your needs, build plans, care for loved ones, and expand good works, but it cannot determine whether you deserve to be loved. A large bank account does not make someone noble if it is used to control, boast, or injure others. A season of scarcity does not make you a failure if you continue living honestly, accepting responsibility, and persistently seeking the right direction. Success is not a throne from which you sit above other people. Success is a trust placed into your hands, requiring you to become mature enough to use influence, resources, and opportunities with humility. Beautiful abundance does not merely mean possessing more. It means knowing what is enough so that greed does not control you, sharing without needing praise, saving without becoming selfish, and enjoying what you have achieved without forgetting those who walked beside you. I also want you to become more discerning about the voices, quietly shaping your thoughts. Some people continually pull you back toward old failures, as though one wrong decision in your past has the authority to speak for your entire future. Some environments have become so accustomed to complaining that they call hope naive and fear wisdom. You do not need to argue with everyone in order to prove that you have faith. You only need to know which words should remain within your mind and which should be allowed to pass without taking root. Distance yourself from words that continually cause you to diminish yourself, but do not surround yourself only with people who say what is pleasant to hear. You need encouragement to rise, and you also need truth, so that you do not enter into illusion. Someone who genuinely values you will not merely say that you can succeed. They will also help you recognize where your preparation remains insufficient, which habits must change, and what price of discipline you must be willing to pay. Encouragement does not deny reality, and sincere truth is never intended to crush your courage. Archangel Michael, my faithful messenger and protector, who carries out my will, stands as a reminder that you need courage to guard your mind without closing your heart. Protection does not mean rejecting every correction or becoming suspicious of everyone who differs from you. It is the ability to distinguish between instruction that helps you mature and an attack that causes you to lose direction. Between healthy caution and fear that prevents you from beginning. Between a dream that can be built through planning and an illusion sustained only by temporary emotion. I did not send Michael to fulfill your responsibilities for you. You must still think carefully, learn, prepare, and accept responsibility for your decisions. Yet the image of that protector reminds you that strength is not impulsive action. Strength is the courage to face your limitations, learn what you do not yet know, and persevere in what is right, even when you receive no applause. I know there may be a longing within you that has never completely disappeared. Perhaps you desire to build honest work, Create a project that benefits your community. Pursue a creative profession. Cultivate a peaceful home, or find a way to help those who have endured difficulties similar to your own. Do not dismiss that longing as an impossible thought, but do not use it as an excuse to wait forever without taking action. A beautiful purpose often begins very quietly. It may be formed through a skill you practice each day, a small task you perform with devotion, a conversation that helps you better understand the needs of others, or a moment when you choose to serve without seeking recognition. Your mission is not found only in moments when you feel special. It is revealed through the way you use your time when no one is watching, the way you keep your word when there is no immediate reward, and the way you treat people who cannot repay you. If you hope to receive greater resources, ask yourself what kind of person you are preparing to become in order to preserve them. When you have more money, will you still know restraint, or will you use it to cover inner emptiness that has not yet been healed? When you have greater influence, will you know how to listen, or will you assume that you are always right? When an opportunity is entrusted to you, will you willingly perform the small, repetitive, and rarely praised tasks? Or will you only want to stand where you can easily be seen? I am not asking you these questions to make you feel unworthy. I want you to understand that inward preparation is just as important as outward opportunity. Some good things, if they arrive too soon, can become burdens when you have not yet developed the maturity to manage them. Therefore, regard the days of learning, waiting, and building foundations as a precious part of your journey, not as meaningless time standing between you and your dream. You do not need to wait until you possess much before beginning to live generously. Generosity can be expressed through a gentle word spoken to someone who is weary, through giving your time to listen without quickly judging, through punctuality, faithfulness to your promises, and the way you complete your work even when no one is checking. You can begin by helping someone with the knowledge you possess, sharing a suitable opportunity, encouraging someone who is losing faith, or simply refusing to add to another person's burden through careless words. Giving is not always about money. A person can give greatly through sincere presence. Nevertheless, I also want you to understand that kindness requires boundaries. You do not have to give until you are completely depleted, nor must you satisfy every request merely because you fear disappointing others. Healthy generosity is born from love freely given, not from guilt, pressure, or the need for recognition. Do not postpone change simply because you do not yet have a perfect plan. You can begin with one small but definite action. Adjust the time you awaken, reduce an unnecessary expense, set aside even a very small portion of your income as savings, learn a skill that could expand your opportunities, complete a task you have delayed, or approach someone with sufficient experience and ask for guidance. Small steps may not feel as exciting as a dramatic decision, but they are what create lasting transformation. When you do not succeed immediately, do not hastily call yourself useless. Examine what was unsuitable, what information is still missing, which habits are slowing you down, and what responsibility you must accept. Failure is not a sentence of condemnation. It can become a strict but valuable teacher if you are humble enough to learn without drowning in shame. I do not love you because you have never stumbled. I love you in the midst of your journey, as you learn to rise again with greater wisdom.